Woman adopts a tiny pet without realizing what it would grow up to be. Yumna Saluji from South Africa wanted a pet more than anything. When she finally set out to get one, she fell head over heels for a cute little Alaskan Malamute puppy. It was love at first sight, and she couldn't wait to bring her new furball home. After all, a dog is a man's best friend, and she always wanted one to call her own. The idea of opening her home to a dog was never far from her mind. After long agonizing months figuring out which dog to get, she finally brought home her tiny puppy. But it only took a few short months before her puppy started to grow and transform into a mature dog. But her puppy's transformation into adulthood had her stunned. One of the biggest questions people have when they start their search for their four-legged friend is, how big will the dog get when it's older? When Yunma decided to adopt, size wasn't an issue. She just wanted a pet to call her very own, but then something stunning started to happen. The puppy started growing fast. Large pets can be fun to have around. They are like miniature teddy bears that you can love on, but they do bring their own challenges and responsibilities. Larger pets require bigger spaces to move around and play in, not to mention the grooming and shedding that takes place. Nevertheless, there are people that absolutely love larger breeds, so picking a large dog breed is a personal choice. For one woman, though, she didn't quite know what she was getting into until after the fact. Yumna contemplated getting a furry friend for some time. It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. She mulled over the idea of taking care of a four-legged friend and finally took the leap of faith and made her dreams into a reality. She didn't need to research long before she found the puppy of her choice, a cute little ball of fur Alaskan Malamute. At the time of the dog's adoption, it was hard to determine just how big the puppy would get. Little did she know that the dog would soon change her life in more ways than she could ever expect. Completely ecstatic, Yumna was beyond thrilled to get her puppy. The fact that it would be her first dog ever made the moment all the more exciting for her. While the process did require more research on her part, the moment she set her eyes on the fluffy little guy, she knew he was the one. It was love at first sight, and deep down she knew that the dog was the perfect one for her. She had picked him out when he was only 2 weeks old. Realizing that the pup still needed time with the mother to mature, Yumna had to wait a few weeks to finally bring him home. So she did what all new parents would do. She dreamed about the day when she could bring him back with her. The small and fluffy pup was lovable and friendly right from the start, and he knew he was the boss. Nevertheless, Yumna understood what she was doing when she picked him out. She never wanted a small breed and completely understood that her Alaskan Malamute would be a larger breed. While the breed does grow to a large size in general, Yumna had no idea just how big Titus was going to get. The instant Titus returned home with Yumna, he knew he was home. He quickly adjusted to his new place and was lavished with toys, a new bed, and plenty of food. Yumna was the perfect owner, giving him the attention he needed around the clock. As a pup, Titus realized his love for running and frolicking around in the lush grass with his toys. Titus enjoyed the open space of his new home, and as he grew, Yumna realized Titus would need it. Titus was indeed the king of the household, and he enjoyed all the love he received. It didn't take long for everyone who met him to fall in love with him. He was an active and affectionate pup that no doubt demanded tons of attention. For those that met him, love was never short, and Titus got all the attention he needed. Titus was one of those dogs that was naturally photogenic. Anytime a camera was around, he showed off, and soon he discovered his love of soccer and would often model for Yumna with his furry face and funny antics. From the moment Yumna brought Titus home, she began documenting his every waking moment just as a proud parent would do. After all, puppies don't have to do much to look cute. All he had to do was play and have fun for Yumna to snap some adorable images. But little Titus was growing quickly, and Yumna didn't want to miss a single moment of it. By the time Titus reached full growth, it would be hard to imagine he was ever this small or adorable. For most dogs, they get a reasonable backyard to play in. For Titus, though, he was lavished with a pool at Yumna's home. It's no surprise that Malamutes love to swim, so Yumna did all she could to get little Titus adjusted to the pool. Although still a pup, Titus wasn't quite ready to jump in, but he was thrilled just to be near the water and to play in the grass around the home. Of course, Yumna documented everything new to her Titus, including his first introduction to the pool. It didn't take long for everyone who met Titus to fall in love. Soon, every single member of the Salugi tribe fell in love with the furball. He was growing more adorable every day, and Titus felt like part of the family. At this point in Titus's life, his favorite thing to do was to play with Yumna's family and friends that came to visit. Titus's cute face and adorable black eyes have melted the hearts of all he meets. Yumna couldn't have been more pleased with any other dog, and her decision to adopt this cute little Alaskan Malamute was the best decision she ever made. He was by far the most perfect addition to her family, even though she had no clue what was in store for her as Titus continued to grow. For many dog owners, they expect their puppies to grow into adults. It's not surprising for puppies like children to have growth spurts. Yumna didn't think anything was off when her cute, adorable little pup experienced a growth spurt. She knew that he would be a big dog, but Titus was doing things a little differently than other dogs of his breed. No one could predict just how big Titus would get, but soon they realized that he was starting to outgrow and surpass other dogs of his age and breed. Each day he grew and soon became a full-size dog. But this didn't stop Yumna from loving her Titus. She would take him no matter his shape or size. But still the question remained, how big would Titus get? Little did Yumna realize when she named him that Titus would in fact live up to his name. He continued to grow and grow. Once he was a tiny little cutie. Now he was a full-grown dog. Yet according to his age, he was still very much a puppy, despite weighing in at 120 pounds. Even for an Alaskan Malamute, 120 pounds is big. As for family and friends, they hardly recognized the cute pup Yumna brought home. The adorable pup was quickly growing into a majestic-looking bear, and Yumna had no clue Titus would develop into a humongous dog when she first adopted him. But to Titus, he didn't see himself as a giant. He was still set in his puppy ways. With his love of running, jumping, and playing, he didn't acknowledge his size one bit. But Yumna had one constant thought as the pup grew. Just how big was he going to get? Titus was far bigger and taller than your average Malamute. Still, no one could predict just how big Titus was going to get. He was still a puppy, yet he was the size of a giant Malamute. The one thing Titus loves more than anything is giving hugs. He enjoys jumping up to give his owner a hug. Only problem is, at 2 years old, he towers over her, and still there were no signs of his growth slowing down. According to Yumna, his size comes from all his fluff. But Yumna goes on to state that even though she doesn't think he'll get any bigger, the chances of it happening might crush her in the end. Still, with his size and weight, Titus still sees himself as a puppy, completely unaware of his size. One thing that Yumna insists on doing every day is taking time out to cuddle with her ball of fur. Titus, of course, doesn't mind, and with all his fluff, he certainly makes for one of the best cuddle buddies around. Although he outgrew his tiny puppy size fairly quickly, Yumna continued to snap those pictures to capture his beloved moments. Most giants, like the Great Danes, sometimes have no clue just how big they are. Titus was no different. Oftentimes, he would climb into a willing lap despite being able to not fit. But it was his playful puppy self that made so many fall in love with him in the first place. Yumna and her family had grown accustomed to Titus's size. However, regular folks on the street and neighbors couldn't help but notice his largeness and unreasonable amount of fur. Yumna started fearing that people would get scared of Titus just because of his sheer size without knowing his loving personality. Luckily though, people proved her wrong. Every single time Yumna took Titus out for a walk or to play, people took notice. It was his fluffiness that caught their attention first. After all, who could ignore such a furball roaming the streets? But then it was his size. Titus was huge. Yumna had stated how people would react when they first saw him, and the questions they would ask about his size and breed. But then again, wouldn't you want to know if you saw a lion-like creature roaming about your neighborhood? Yet, all the positive attention Yumna and Titus received, she realized she wanted to share him with the world. Excited to share Titus with the world, she created his very own Instagram account and started posting pictures of him every day. With his photogenic personality, it was no surprise that Titus stole the spotlight. Soon, he had well over 140,000 followers, each picture showing off Titus's loving personality and amazing soul. However, there was one other star jumping in on the attention bandwagon. While Yumna started the Instagram account for Titus to show off his personality, oftentimes Titus would share the spotlight with his brother, Trez. Trez is a Congo-African gray parrot, which often makes appearances with Titus on the Trez and Titus Instagram account. Yumna loves and adores her animals, especially when the two behave and play nice with one another. It's during those moments that Yumna takes the time to snap the pictures she shares on Instagram. Although it's clear Titus wants the spotlight. He playfully gnaws on Yumna's arm to get his way, but he doesn't mean any harm. He is, after all, just a pup doing what puppies do best. It's these cute, random moments that Yumna shares with the world daily. Although Titus acts like an overgrown puppy, he's nothing more than a giant goofball. There is nothing more that Titus loves than goofing off and romping around with his stuffed animals. Here, you can find Titus rip poor Mickey Mouse to shreds and have a great time doing it. For such a huge Alaskan Malamute, Yumna makes sure that Titus is never bored. Besides ripping Mickey to shreds, Titus also has a stuffed monkey he often chews on to keep him busy when Yumna isn't cuddling him. Another one of Titus's favorite toys is his dinosaur and toy gun. Although it's unclear how Titus will use a toy gun to battle the dinosaur, this picture clearly shows Titus content and happy. Although you may not realize it, Titus has a very busy schedule. When he isn't shredding Mickey or playing with his other toys, the Alaskan Malamute has serious business to attend to. When he isn't romping around outdoors, Titus often spends time helping Yumna out with her work. You can see here how regal and majestic he looks as if he's helping and advising Yumna on world affairs. No doubt, the bigger the dog, the bigger the heart, and in Titus's case, this couldn't be closer to the truth. Titus has become one of the best companions for Yumna, no matter their adventures, inside or out of the house. He also makes for a wonderful driving companion. One of Titus's favorite activities to do is to head out with his best friend. Anytime Yumna has places to go, Titus is right there by her side. The funny thing is, with Titus's size, people in traffic can't help but to turn and look at this adorable fuzzy ball. And he also helps keep people from messing with his owner. Another benefit Yumna had when taking Titus with her was the fact that he distracted other drivers by his looks, allowing her to skip ahead when others weren't looking. It just goes to show the love between these two has no limits. Titus loves to chase and wrestle Yumna to the ground. Although he often forgets his size, the fluffy bear dog no doubt always wins the game. Compared to Yumna, Titus is massive, but he's just so fluffy and adorable that it's no secret anyone would love to play with him. He truly has a one-of-a-kind personality and is a big, friendly giant. When Yumna is away, Titus knows, but the moment she comes home, he adorns her with his love. Excitingly, he will leap into the air hoping she'll catch him just like a child would do. It's clear that this is one happy and content Alaskan Malamute. Over time, Yumna has gotten accustomed to Titus's size and weight. But could you imagine how much this dog eats? For Yumna though, nothing could come between her and her Titus. It's clear that there was no better dog for Yumna than Titus. The two are practically inseparable. Although she had no idea what Titus would become, Yumna's love for her fur baby shows no limits. But Titus isn't the only lovable fur baby to hog the spotlight on Instagram. Titus occasionally has his thunder stolen by a husky Malamute named Loki, who happens to be a wolf dog. Loki has been stealing hearts since 2013 and has nearly 1.7 million followers on Instagram. You'll be surprised to know that Titus isn't the only lovable giant to hit Instagram. The guy in this photo posted an image of himself with his fur babies on Reddit, and people went nuts. While the caption on his photo states that these are his puppies and how he has to get a bigger couch, these guys look a little too old to be just pups. The poster, known simply as Turdman13, has had several people respond to his post. One person stated the challenges of owning Malamutes and wrote how it's a trade-off, how you'll need more money for food, a lower hearing rate, but pure cuddles, and we couldn't agree more. When it comes to controlling Malamutes, they can be a bit of a challenge, especially when they get so big. In this image below, it's hard to say who is walking who. Walking giant Malamutes takes serious upper body strength, as well as strong leadership. While it may be a struggle to walk these amazing dogs and keep them in check, it's all worth it in the end. Malamutes are loving and playful dogs. The giant Alaskan Malamute here is huge compared to his owner, but clearly she doesn't mind one bit. The pair looks happy and content with one another, but it is clear that this Malamute needs a bigger couch. The image has blown up so much that it even has its own meme. The meme states simply, "Don't know what kind of dog this is, but I'd ride it into battle." Although the dog's size alone makes one pause, it also makes you want to just cuddle with it and make it your personal teddy bear. Next to its owner, this Malamute really towers over them. It's clear he thinks he's still a pup with his playful tricks. While training a Malamute is like training any other dog, you really gotta love how playful these dogs are. Clearly though, this one still has some training to do to get the paw command down, but he is trying. Each attempt, this adorable and loving creature just wants to snuggle and love on its owner. That just makes this breed cuter than any others. When you were younger, didn't you just wish you could win one of those huge stuffed teddy bears at the carnival? Well, giant Alaskan Malamutes are just like those bears, but they have the ability to love you back. That could be why so many people have fallen in love with these remarkable animals. Giant Alaskan Malamutes wow and stun people when they first see them. This one happens to be nearly as big as its owner, but of course, the owner doesn't mind one bit. Alaskan Malamutes are friendly and kind as this picture shows. Evo, the Alaskan Malamute, just simply adores his new 4-month-old buddy Adam. It's clear these two are going to have some awesome times together when Adam gets old enough, of course. For now, Evo looks after Adam and is as gentle as can be. The amazing thing about Malamutes is that they are incredibly active dogs, but Evo here has learned to be calm around his new friend. An article was written explaining how Evo shows his love for Adam by licking Adam's socks, proving once and for all that this breed is awesome. The baby in this picture says it all. Kids and dogs go together like peanut butter and jelly. The kid clearly has a strong connection to his 4-legged friend, as the dog has no issues letting him ride on his back. But getting to know the massive fur comes with a quiet shock for some. Although the time will come when the kid won't be able to ride his 4-legged furry friend, it's clear that their adventures will continue for some time. That is the beauty of kids and dogs. They really do grow up to be the best of friends. There's nothing like the bond between dog and human. When babies grow up, they will have a friend that will love them unconditionally throughout their childhood. And as for the dog, the love is always returned in full. This giant Malamute clearly feels the love his mini owner has for him as they snuggle on the couch. To the kid, the dog is a giant teddy bear and as calm as can be despite the massive size of this doggy. The TV host Anna Svenska had the time of her life working on an assignment from her British television station. She had the chance to interview Lorna Bartlett, a woman who is clearly the biggest fan of Alaskan Malamutes on the planet. Bartlett is an owner who runs a small kennel in Essex, England called Arctic Rainbow Malamutes. Bartlett has 12 dogs that live with her that are nearly Anna's size, and at the end of the day was granted a dog sled ride. To Anna, it was certainly an interview she'll never forget. Danny is a 12-year-old giant Alaskan Malamute who has become a social media star. The giant fluffball had quite a journey to get to where he is now, due to being rescued from Singapore. With his owner known simply as Danny Direwolf, the two live in Canada and go on amazing adventures together, as Danny Direwolf snaps pictures to share with her fans on social media. Kelly Lund came from a dog-loving family, so when he moved to Denver, Colorado, he was ready for one of his own. Being up to take on any challenge, he picked a husky Malamute to be his companion. In 2012, Lund brought Loki home, and he knew the challenges that faced him. Both Huskies and Malamutes are breeds that are said to be highly intelligent, dominant, and a bit mischievous. But Lund was up for whatever came his way. Little did he know Loki also had a bit of wolf in him. The very instant Lund brought Loki home, he started taking pictures of his new friend and, of course, started posting them to Instagram. It's not shocking that many people take pictures of their furry friends and share them with the world. But just like having a kid, you want to share the cuteness with others. It didn't take long before Lund's account was filled with nothing but images of his dog. So Lund created a different account just to share his love for Loki. You can find Loki the wolf dog on Instagram and discover for yourself just how loving this dog is. Like Titus, Loki soon became an instant hit. People from all around the world have become followers of Loki, and in 2013, Lund's account hit 50,000 followers. Even local dog food companies offered Lund food as payment to use Loki in their advertising pictures and posts. While Lund didn't begin the account to make Loki famous, Loki did it all on his own. His cuteness and attention to pose for the camera made him a star. And although things may have started off slow for this four-legged furball, it showed no signs of slowing down once the ball got rolling. By 2015, Loki had almost 1 million followers on Instagram, and the number keeps growing every year. Lund realizes that Loki is more than just a dog to him. Loki is a best friend who shares how he's feeling and knows how Lund is feeling too. Although Lund has no formal photography training, his pictures were breathtaking and awe-inspiring. Coupled with Loki's natural talent for posing for the camera, the two soon found success. Eventually, Lund was able to quit his day job and focus on managing Loki's social media account. Now, Loki and Lund deal with companies like Mercedes, Google, and GoPro, showcasing Loki's adorableness. By 2017, Lund's Instagram account for Loki hit 1.7 million. But the best part is, Lund now gets to spend all his time with his best friend. With all his free time, Lund has honed in on his photography skills and is able to run all sorts of businesses, including selling images of his dog on an online shop.